the like founder. We support new designers and help them to express their new, fresh ideas like about sustainability to the world.
And how do you find your designers that you're going to put in this show?
So we have really strict like standard to find designers. Also focus on their plan, like future plans, whether they're gonna continue doing this or not. Yeah.
Where are they from?
So they're from all over the world. They're like one of them from England and from Russia, India, China, like all over the world. All think that's very important to bring the awareness of sustainability to the world. Also, like New York Fashion Week is our first time to be here, and it's really like one of the biggest platforms for us to express our own ideas.
So it's important that people know that you buy one clothes and the clothes is supposed to last, right? It's not like disposable.
Yeah, it's like we're introducing like less buying, less wasting, and we want people to like really value what they own, like their clothes and their shoes, like that. We don't want the industry to overproduct. Yeah.
My collection is about me growing up in Finland and composing music. It's mixed together with ski wear because I grew up behind a ski resort, cross-country skiing. So each one of the prints in my collection is inspired by a song that I wrote. So you can see in this collection, it starts from a memory, and then this memory is about a particular moment in time explaining the story, and then if you scan it, you can hear the melody behind each of the prints that I designed.
Wow, that's so cool.
Thank you. And the prints are actually inside the wash label of the tags, so one could like wear the garment and simultaneously listen to my source of inspiration at the same time.
That's great. How did you have this idea?
I'm a classically trained pianist. I grew up in a conservatory, and I've always loved music growing up. Like when I was walking on the streets, I would hear a melody, I would record it, and I would like polish it more and more. It's always been my hobby. And when I entered fashion, I wanted to do something that combined music and fashion because I think that's something that creates an emotional attachment, like a connection between the wearer and the garment itself. And I think that's what sustainability is about. It's not always about using like the most organic materials. It could be a different way of thinking as well. Instead of creating season by season, what if one created a different way of categorizing the clothes or buying the clothes? So in my collection, I'm using technology as a digital platform to create emotional attachment between the wearer and the garment. So say they get attached to one of my compositions, they buy the clothes, they would want to cherish it for a longer period of time.
Then my collection is a working art. Forecasting the fashion, I think in the next 2 years it's going to be focused on the futurism thinking. So that's why I select the recycled plastic and some papers, and also because plastic gives us like a see-through effect. It's going to be looks very clean, looks cool, And on my for this collection, I didn't use any like fashion fabrics, even the thread. I staple all the pieces together. I want to make something different. I want to change something, change the fashion industry. This is my dream. So
how many pieces do you have in your collection for this runway?
For this runway, I have 3 pieces, and since the focus of this show is sustainability, my pieces are more about zero-waste garments. And can be worn in multiple ways because my collection is all about versatility and monochromatic garments. Embroidery on my collection is actually done by the local artisans from India because I wanted to give back to the society.
Tell me a little bit of your collection.
So basically I started with tracing back my grandma's memory in the 1950s to the 1980s, and then so I sourced specifically each fabric from where she was coming from and her career by telling a story of her life. So this is like my initial idea of doing the collection. It's tracing back an individual story, referencing culture and history as part of it. So as a designer, I think sustainability is a way to bring back like subculture and mainstream culture into a way that people can remember it more, and then so they understand the concept and then the history behind it, and then so they will understand the product more in order to keep them a longer time.
So my inspiration sort of came from the idea of textiles waste. So I wanted to produce something that would reduce the amount of textiles waste produced
mostly I'm from London, so from in the UK, because I statistically worked out that there was like 1,000 garments chucked away a minute. So I wanted to create a concept where everything could be interchanged into each other. So I've made a whole unsewn collection, which consists of like 500 to 600 squares that are all slotted together, and the whole collection is exactly the same shape but done with different types of textiles waste. You have like a certain amount of squares, and then they could be tops, they could be dresses, they could be trousers, and I think it's about then the individual putting their inspiration and making it actually individual to them, and like there's so much variations that you could do with it, and I don't know, I like the idea of getting consumers involved and making things more personal instead of just sort of consistently buying loads and loads of textiles.